Our next guest divides his time between daytime and nighttime. He has published several essays and has previously busied himself as a grad student, writing teacher, copywriter, and book critic. He lives in Albany Park and works as a creative director for a Chicago marketing agency called Jellyvision. Please give it up for Tom Haley.
Not too much. All right, there we go. All right, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello. This is a piece of fiction called A Joke in 10 parts. Part 1. So a man runs into a horse in a bar. Actually, that's not quite it. Sorry. I want to get this right. So a man crashes his Honda scooter into the hind leg of a horse a block and a half north of a bar. The man has been distracted, had been writing and revising jokes on a notepad he strapped to the handlebars. He was around 80% sober. The horse came out of nowhere. At the moment of impact, from the man's perspective, the horse seemed to possess a long face, even compared to your standard horse. The bar up the street, which the horse owns, is called Horse Bar, because that's how you name bars these days, at least around here. Part 2. So a man runs into a horse, plows his scooter right into a horse. There is the sound of the horse shouting, "Hey," and then "Watch out." There's the sound of a cheap plastic fender crunching into the horse's leg. The man emits a weak yelp as his helmet and face connect with the side of the horse. Sprawled on the asphalt, moaning, the man searches the eyes of the horse. The man looks for rage or pain in those eyes, but all he sees on that long, velvet, expansive face are the dark, enigmatic pupils of a horse. The man whispers, "Knock, knock," and coughs. He whispers, "Staring contest," and passes out. Part 3. I'm sorry this isn't coming together hilariously just yet, but don't worry, I'm closing in on it. I'm trying to get it just right. Where I'm from, which is also where the man and the horse are from, jokes are currency. They're your passport, your ID, your tax exemption, your half-off coupon. And those are not metaphors. I'm being literal. The internet broke a few years ago, only for a month, and then it came back, but the damage had been done. Our virtual personalities had nowhere to live or express themselves, so we vomited them out into the physical world. Since then, if you can't instantly fire off a hilarious zinger in response to every sensory input, you are a failure. If you can't endlessly volley retorts with any random stranger, no one wants you. You face employment discrimination, you don't get laid, bus drivers close doors on you, goons from the bank repossess your stuff, you don't eat. So a man runs into a horse because he's distracted, desperately trying to exercise and strengthen the part of his brain where punchlines come from. Part 4. So a man wakes up in a lamplit, mostly empty bar. Seated at the bar are the horse, a cow, and Reggie, the mayor's brother. The man blinks into the dim glow of a trendy amber light bulb hanging above him. He's lying on the bar. "I thought you were a goner," the horse says. "I thought the impact with my flank at the speed you were going would have done you in." The man considers a response. "A pun? Is there a pun for this occasion?" "Well, I hate to disappoint you," the man begins, but that is all he says. He can't think of anything else. The cow and Reggie pick at their drink coasters, look down at their glasses. "It's okay," the horse tells the man. His voice is hopeful and encouraging. "It's late, maybe tomorrow you'll do better." The horse shifts more weight off his broken leg, grunts in pain, adjusts his posture, takes another sip of beer. Part 5. So a man on a scooter runs into a horse, and the horse falls over, saying, "Oh, geez," as he goes down. A splinter of white bone pushing through the flesh below his knee. The man lies on the street next to the horse. Half a block away, a duck on a bicycle is pulled over and quietly observes the accident. The man regains consciousness for a moment and says to the horse, "Are you okay?" He adds, "Why the long face?" But he hears himself say it, realizes he's said it too rapidly and unnaturally, and the pacing is all wrong. The horse studies the man for a second, and the horse says, "Is that funny? I'm seriously asking. I don't know if you're being sincere, but we should call 911. Do you have a phone?" The man says no, but doesn't explain why. He doesn't explain that they took his phone away after finding zero humorous or ironic substance in his phrasing. The algorithms dinged him on both voice and text. You get a warning, then you pay a penalty, then they put you on a more expensive plan, then they take your phone. The horse looks up the road. He shouts, "Hey, duck, you got a phone?" The duck gets back on his bike and pedals away. "Was that funny?" the horse asked the man. "The duck being there on a bike? I'm seriously asking." The horse also has no phone. "Talk to me," the horse says, and he sounds desperate. "Was that funny or not?" But the man has passed out again. Part 6. So an unfunny horse enlists an unfunny man to bring humor and positive Yelp reviews to a flailing, not successful bar, which has recently come under scrutiny from the mayor. The man must promote a spirit of good times, must evangelize Horse Bar's youthful, zesty brand, must dollop verbal sneer across all Horse Bar signage and menus and sidewalk chalkboards. The way the horse sees it, the man owes him, and the unfunny man sees a growth opportunity, a chance to raise his status, redeem himself socially and professionally, make an honest living. Part 7. So a man walks into a bar every day for weeks, trying out jokes on the staff as they remodel the bar and plan the grand reopening. On his first day, the man says, "Why the long face?" Just trying it out again. The cow gasps. "Oh God," says the cow, "you can't be serious. We're so screwed." "Just relax," says Reggie. "Everything's going to be fine." The man makes a note to keep a lid on the long face stuff for a while. He changes the subject and asks how they came up with the name of the bar. Reggie says, "Shop names on this stretch of quaint, fake lantern-lit, fake cobblestone paved road. The names must embody post-irony." The cow says, "Oh, for God's sake, Reggie, will you stow it?" But Reggie continues, "We live in an era I like to call the new insincerity." The cow rolls his eyes and makes a fart sound. Part 8. So a horse stands behind a bar shaking a martini while his busted leg throbs and stinks with infection, teeth bared in pain and hope. It's Saturday night, the grand reopening. Guests are seated at every table. The cow works the room, pushing a vermouth concoction he invented. The man grills sandwiches and back, glimpsing the bar through the rectangular opening he slides dinner plates through. Around midnight, the man hears a sudden hush fall over the bar. The horse stands frozen, looking at the door. Outside the frosted windows of the bar, two silhouettes move toward the door, one tall, one short and round. Everyone quietly arms their devices for photography and live posting. A minute passes, another minute, and then the silhouettes proceed past the bar and take their business elsewhere. People set their screens back to passive and resume conversation. The horse looks toward the kitchen, aims his gaze through the rectangular opening into the man's skull. The man sees that the horse's eyes are no longer inscrutable. The horse is panicked and angry and disappointed. Part 9. Another week passes. Morning sunlight beams in through the dusty front windows of Horse Bar. Tomorrow they will have one more chance to win over the public. Grand reopening number 2. The horse has barely spoken to anyone since the failed debut last week. A letter from the mayor had arrived, a violation had occurred, a fine had been levied. The man eats an egg sandwich at the bar with Reggie. "When the internet went down," Reggie says, "didn't you feel relief?" I think we all did. Even amidst the panic, I feel like we all kind of went, "Oh, isn't this better? Isn't this more natural?" The horse sits on the floor, alone in a corner. He opens a bottle of whiskey and dumps it on his leg wound. "I remember the first new speed limit sign I saw," Reggie says. "It was only 36 hours after the internet broke. 36 hours. That's how long we lasted. Someone took down the old sign and replaced it with that shrugging emoticon. And underneath the emoticon it said, 25 miles per hour, question mark? Meh, question mark? You do you, exclamation point. The man sweeps up his sandwich crumbs and stands up from the table. Reggie is on a roll. Not that long ago, Reggie says, a horse, a cow, and a man walk into a bar. They each say a crude phrase. The combined phrasing results in something cruder still, the meaning of which is hidden from them, but clearly revealed to the rest of us. These days, a horse walks into a bar, makes an offer, buys it, remodels it, and hires a cow to develop a cocktail menu. Can you believe it? Look at him back there. Reggie nods to the back of the bar, where the cow is writing a vendor a check. He's created a vermouth program. Who could have guessed we'd all be bullied into using words like subtle and delightful to describe vermouth? Part 10. So a horse and a man and a cow have cleaned a bar from floor to ceiling, written new menus, uncrated all the new vermouth the cow bought. The horse throws a piece of new retro drinkware into the fireplace and says something about how he's christening the bar, and then he vomits onto the floor. Reggie walks to the back and gets a mop. The horse is sweating, and flies hover around his swollen leg. And a man walks into the bar, and then another man, and some women, some couples, a group of lacrosse players, a bridal shower. The energy is skeptical but high. The cow had posted a social notice boasting of a new drink, the Mauve Lathe, which he hopes will become an instant vermouth classic. But no one wants a Mauve Lathe, and the cow seems to take it personally, and wanders out into the alley, sobbing and smoking cigarettes. Some patrons slyly photograph the scene and post live comments, which does not go unnoticed by the horse. Really sweating now, eyes glassy, stinking up a 10-foot radius from his busted leg, the horse limps out the front of the bar. The man hunts down Reggie, who's in a booth, dishing a dozen grad students some gossip on the mayor. Reggie, the man says, we're in trouble. The cow is out back, the horse took off, the horse seems in bad shape, what do we do? I could rename the bar, maybe draw a penis on the chalkboard? Reggie says, relax. He says, the beauty of a joke is that you don't need to be funny to tell one. You don't need a sense of humor, or a unique perspective, or a quick wit, or any intelligence at all. The grad students laugh, and the man isn't sure whether it's at his expense. The cow eventually mopes back in from the alley just as there's a sharp thump against the front door. A moment later, another thump, louder. Everyone is quiet, turned to the front of the bar, phones out, recording, ready to comment. A horse, a duck, and a priest walk into the bar. The duck and priest are wide-eyed, scan the room quickly, appear to be under duress. The horse stumbles in behind them, falls over. The duck and the priest clear their throats and prepare to speak. No one here has heard this one before, and they can't wait. Thanks.